can believe it, we're here playing Assetto Corsa Evo. It's finally here. What is probably one of, if not the most hyped up racing simulators. I don't want to say ever, but it's one of the most hyped up racing simulators in recent memory. There was a lot of expectation surrounding this game, and let's just not beat around the bush and have tons of preamble for a video that nobody is going to watch. Is this game good? It's a difficult question. What I will say about this game, and as background, I have tested many racing games in my 36 years on this planet. I've tested racing games that have been very successful. I've tested racing games that have been incredibly unsuccessful. I've tested racing games that have never released at all. But what about this specific racing game or simulator or whatever it is that you want to call it? Well, it's a tricky one to answer. It's a very, very solid foundation is what I think I would call it. This is, for posterity's sake, the first early access release. This game has been out for about 24 hours now. And just for reference, it's still broken. The online capabilities are still broken. There's still a lot of this game you can't access. Games release broken nowadays. That's just a thing that happens. It's a very solid foundation. It runs incredibly well. It feels amazing to play. The force feedback is great. I don't think it's a revelation for anyone, really. I don't think you're going to play this and it's going to change your perception of what a racing game could be and how a racing game should feel. It feels like the original Assetto Corsa, but a little bit better, for the most part. I'm running it all on default settings on my force feedback, and it feels great. It feels incredibly natural. Does it feel realistic? Yes and no. It feels about as realistic as any racing simulator is going to feel. Does it feel better than iRacing? Absolutely. Does it feel better than Le Mans Ultimate? Yes and no. I think it's all going to come down to personal taste. If you liked the feel of the original Assetto Corsa, I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy this though. Graphically, I'm not that impressed. It's very pretty to look at, but it's very soft. Very pretty. It's very... what's the word I want to use? It's very consoleized. It feels like I'm playing Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo, but I don't think it looks as good as Gran Turismo 7. I don't think it looks as good as some of the arcade races that are out on the market. But it does look good. Again, not a revelation here. Is it worth buying? That's another tricky question. The game crashed. Let's blame me. I'm not going to blame the game for that crash. I believe that was very much a me problem. I think I was recording too high a bit rate for running a game of this fidelity. Let's just get myself positioned up. We're in the Hyundai i30N, a car I almost bought in real life earlier this year. Where were we? Is the game worth buying? It's a difficult question to answer. I guess a more pertinent question is it worth the 26 Great British Pounds or 27 Great British Pounds that I paid for it? And it depends. It depends on what your values are. If you're going to buy this game anyway, at some point, yes, because this is the cheapest this game is ever going to be. Or at least it's the cheapest this game is going to be for a long time. The price is going to go up as they add more and more features and more content to it. So I would recommend getting it at its discounted price now, even if you're not going to play it too much. That's why I bought it. Is it worth it for £27 to play as your daily driver right now? No. No. As I said, this game is a really solid foundation, but that's all it is. It is my personal opinion that they have released this game far too early. And I do worry when it comes to the more general populace that don't quite understand what they're getting with early access. I do worry what that's going to have for PR, the fact that it doesn't work, the fact that the menus are kind of shitty, the fact that I've entered in my driver profile and it didn't work. There's a lot of polish missing from the game, which is fine for the state that this game is currently in. This is clearly an alpha of this game. And it's a solid alpha. I've played alpha builds of racing games that are way not as far along as this game is. But I understand that. I've worked in the industry for most of my life. I understand the state that this game's currently in. A lot of people may not, and that's what concerns me about releasing a game this early. Also, they're asking for money for it, so there is a certain level of quality that probably should be expected. Whether or not it's at that level of quality is really for you to decide. One thing I'm really enjoying about this game is the sound. It sounds amazing. It's one of the best sounding simulators I think I've played in a while. Going from this back to iRacing is quite difficult to do. At least in terms of the sound. So what are you getting for £27 if you were to buy this now? Let's just go through that now, shall we? And we'll set up a quick race against the AI for the remainder of this video. But in terms of its alpha build, it is quite solid. It runs really well. I'll give them that. I've had one crash so far, which may or may not have been my own fault. So these are the tracks you get. You get Brands Hatch, you get Imola, you get Laguna Seca, you get Suzuka, and you get Mount Panorama. Let's do a race around Brands Hatch in the car, the Audi RS3 Sportback, the Alpine A290 Beta, the BMW M2 CS Racing. That's probably the one we'll go with to get the M4, and I'll just scroll through the rest. I'm bored of reading them out. So not a bad offering of content really. The next content drop will be adding Fuji Speedway and 2 more cars. What I am hoping is that they add some more race cars to the roster as well. I much prefer driving race cars than road cars on simulators. That's my own personal preference. This could turn into a better Gran Turismo. Who knows? But my biggest disappointment with this so far, which we can talk about, is probably the AI. I'm just going to stick with the default settings for now. And you know, you need to caveat a lot of this with the fact, well, the game isn't finished, so, but they are asking for money, so we know we need to take that into account. Also, it does not default the view to what it was last set as, which is a shame. But compare the noise of this car to the sound that it makes on iRacing. And that's just the thing, right? I said I'm critical of this game. I've been quite critical in this video, more than I normally am. More than I normally am about anything. But straight away, I'm smiling. I've got a smile on my face right now. Turn down the traction control. Turn the traction control off. I've got a smile on my face playing it, so... which to me counts for everything, alright? How much am I having fun right now in this moment? Quite a bit. Because this game just feels so good to play. And it's really hard to describe a feeling. But If you like the Assetto Corsa feel, you know exactly what I mean. My main gripe with the AI is just that they're a bit slow. Even on the highest max 100% setting. And I'm not a fast sim racer in the slightest. Which is an excellent on-purpose segue to my next point. There's no visible damage right now either. I'm not entirely sure if there's damage at all, to be honest. I've tested it by driving straight into a wall. I didn't really feel any tangible difference to the cars. Let's shut up for a minute and just let you listen to this game. Sounds good, doesn't it? And that's what has me most excited about Assetto Corsa Evo. It's that foundation that they've built. Rarely in my time have I seen and felt and played a foundation as good as this. Or how early in development this still clearly is. This could be, if properly looked after and properly stewarded, one of the best simulators available for us. It could be. It all depends on what their plan is going to be. They have a roadmap outlined, but what I'm particularly interested in knowing is, how is the multiplayer going to work? How is the single player going to work? Is it going to have some kind of Gran Turismo-esque campaign? It seems like it's been set up that way. There are license tests. There's buying and selling cars when the game eventually works. Of course, there's the elephant in the room, the free roam. How is that eventually going to work? There's just so much potential here. And that has me very excited about the future. So to reiterate the question that I asked myself at the beginning of this video, Assetto Corsa Evo, is it good? Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. Should you buy it? Well, if you want the launch discount, yes. If you're not interested in the launch discount, probably not. Probably not yet. But I definitely wishlist it. Keep it on your radar, because if Kunos deliver the potential of this game, it stands to be a game changer. And I don't say these things lightly. I'm not the kind of guy on YouTube that uses lofty terms like game changer. I'm not being paid to say these things. I'm not being paid by anyone. This video will probably get 10 views. And 9 of those people haven't made it this far into the video. I just appreciate good simulators, good games, and that foundation is there for this to be one. But that's all it is. It's a foundation. That's all you're getting right now. But I am having a blast right now, even in spite of it all. And that speaks volumes. That's all I have to say on that. Ta-ra for now.